All right, hello. So this is going to be a follow-up video to uh the how to talk to people video. Um First who watched it, who that video was kind of made for, said that the video was cool, but it was more about how to continue a conversation, and he needed to be like the basics of how to actually get into the mindset of how to like have confidence to first even approach the person to start the conversation. Again, for how I always begin my videos, for Kosi, you don't need this video. First, you definitely need this video. Manny, you could probably watch this video, Manny, but I don't know if it'd really be beneficial to you. Anybody else, I don't know why you're watching this video, but welcome. But yeah, so let's just go into it. So how to approach people with confidence so you can actually talk to them, right? That's the topic today. um so last time we were talking about these things, right? We're talking about all this. This is the way that you want to feel to have a good conversation. Now, we didn't like first mentioned, we didn't really go really into how to approach them and how to have that confidence. I thought it was kind of self-explanatory, but apparently I didn't really cover that in depth. So, how to actually have confidence when you're approaching the person is you want to stay in the mindset of first, you have to understand when you're approaching the other person, the reason why it's so hard to approach them in the first place. Actually, give me a minute, real quick. The reason why it's so hard to approach them in the first place, right, for most people, is that when you want to approach somebody, right, when you want to approach somebody else, it's hard because you're always thinking about, like, man, like, how should I walk to them? Where should I put my hands when I'm talking to them? How should my shoulders move? Like, am I wearing the right clothes? Like, all this. The reason why it's so hard for most people to approach others is because they're always thinking about how the other person is thinking of them, right? That's why it's kind of hard to approach people with that confidence. And that's why if you think about that, it's just going to be like super, super difficult. It's always going to be difficult. The way that you want to approach somebody so you can have that confidence is when you're approaching them, you want to like we talked about here, you want to be um you want to have these two things right here, right? The openness and the interest. Reason why, and I'll explain why that's important for approaching. But the reason why you want to have that openness and interest is because that allows you to put it on them rather than putting it on yourself. Do you understand what I'm saying? So naturally, your mind is always going to think, you know, like how is this person gonna think of me? How are they gonna think of me here? How, like, am I wearing the right clothes? Am I walking the right way? Right? But if you can be so open and interested in them, right? So before you've even talked to them, like you're just so interested in them. That's the only thing that you're thinking about, right? The only thoughts in your mind are, I wonder what this person is like. I wonder what they're interested in. I'm interested. I want to have a conversation with them, right? And just allow your body to move towards them. And while you're moving towards them, the only thing you're thinking about is them, not you. You're thinking about them, right? And that displays some sort of a confidence toward them, right? And another thing that's really important, this is still like a beginner's tutorial, right? Kind of like a newborn tutorial, but I'm gonna mention a little bit of a advanced technique. It's funny that I'm saying that, but when you're walking towards somebody or when you're speaking to somebody, you can do something called mirroring. Okay. And mirroring is where, for example, it's known that when people talk to other people that are like them, they feel happy, right? When people talk to other people that are like them, they feel like they are, being connected more closely, right? This is what mirroring can do. The reason why it's more of an advanced technique is because in order for you to actually mirror properly, you have to first be able to understand who the like what the other person is doing, what they're really talking about, how they're really feeling, the way that they're saying things, which is why I say it's more of a intermediate thing. It's not really advanced, it's more of intermediate. But what mirroring is like, for example, imagine that you're going to talk to somebody, right? You're walking up to them and you're approaching them, but as you're approaching them, like, you realize that this person is like super laid back. For example, let's say that they're on their phone, they're like maybe they're on their phone, they're like chilling in a chair, they're sitting down, they're a little bit slumped, right? That person is probably a little bit relaxed, probably, they're feeling that they're in a state of chilling, they're in a state of relaxation, right? So if you walk up to them and you're also like, yo, like what's good, right? And you're also being a little relaxed and a little bit chill, then you're mirroring because you're matching their energy. And so they are going to naturally want to talk to you because, for example, if you went in there, you're like, yo, what's good, what's good? That's breaking their pattern, right? That's disruptive. And that's really, really good for getting attention, but it's not so good for like kind of like merging in with them, right? Like getting to know them and like getting into a conversation with that without them even knowing it's a conversation, right? Because it's so smooth that they don't even realize it's happening, right? Because if you just go and you just change the way that they feel automatically or just like abruptly, just like that, it's really disruptive and it just changes everything, right? So if you can figure out the emotional state that they're in and kind of go into the same route, right? Still be interested in it, like everything that I mentioned before here is exactly how you feel, except you're mirroring them and you're displaying that interest in their emotional state. So you're still interested, but you're more relaxed, right? So like, yo, like, what's good? I saw that you were on your phone here. Like, what are you playing? What's that? Oh, I saw on your shirt there was this Attack on Titan shirt. I watched Attack on 2, blah 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 blah. Right? All like the actual conversational stuff is in the last video, so I'm not gonna go too much into it. But with the mirroring, this allows you to approach them in a way in which you are on the same level as them, right? So you can merge into a conversation without them even knowing. This is super, super, super powerful because it actually allows them to unconsciously accept you because they're accepting themselves, right? So that's what I would say with approaching them. You can do that technique. But again, with the confidence, again, like if you want to approach with confidence, this is what I'd recommend 100%. Always mirror. That's a huge thing. But alongside mirroring, always make it about them. Because here's the thing. If you make it about you, you're going to be sweating. You're going to be, your palms are going to be like slippery, just all types of stuff, right? Constantly be thinking about them, right? Because if you're thinking about them and you understand their emotional state, you can mirror. If you think about them and you understand their interest, you can direct the conversation towards them, right? And so so it's not like approaching with confidence, because this confidence thing, like, okay, I'm gonna break it down because this is how I would do it for like guys, but I feel like when it comes to girls, for example, right? I feel like when it comes to girls, this whole confidence thing, like mirroring can work. I'd say mirroring can work as well, but with girls, like you have to have the almost a stronger sense of um emotional intelligence to understand where they are. Because if you see a guy, you can pretty easily understand the emotional state he's in. If you see a girl, you probably don't talk to girls, every single day of your life if you're watching this video. And so it might be a little bit harder to actually understand their emotional state and replicate that with mirroring and actually approach them. So to actually approach them in somewhat of a confident manner, I'd say in this case is what I would do. When you're approaching them, you should approach them in the sense that you're so interested in what they have to say. You're so interested in what they have to do, right? That you're like we said before, that's like you're automatically interested in what they have to say. And you're approaching them with the mindset that that is your only goal. You simply want to figure out like who they are, what they're interested in, all that, right? Like you found, for example, like their hairstyle to be cool to you. You wanted them to talk about that, or you saw that there was like a Hello Kitty chain on their thing, right? Um, or for example, if they're sitting at a chair, right, or a bench, you go up to them and say like, is this seat taken? Blah blah blah. Blah. And then you just like sit next to them and you sit next to them, and then you're like, what are you doing? You're reading that book. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I read the book. See, um, I'm gonna break this into two sections, right? Like starting the actual conversation and approaching them, because this might actually be important. So this is like actually the starting of the convo, and this is before the convo actually happens. Okay, I think this might be important. So before it actually happens, you want to approach them with the mindset that you're just there to talk to them, and you really are interested in figuring out like what, like who they are, right? And most importantly, it's okay if they say like it's okay if they don't want to like talk to you. Like that's okay. You have to be okay with that, right? Like that's cool if they don't want to talk to you, if they're busy or whatever. You should be okay with that, okay? Because there's some people who you're gonna go up to and they're just not gonna talk to you. That's okay. You have to be okay with that. All right, it's gonna happen sometimes. Just be okay with that. All right. And I know that's a bit hard, but you just have to have tough skin. This is how it goes, okay? Some people are simply just not gonna want to talk to you, and you have to be okay with that because that's gonna be like 10 to 20% of the people. The other 80 to like 90% do want to talk to you. So you have to focus on the other 80 90% and the 10 to 20 that don't want to, leave them behind. It's okay, right? But if they are willing to have a conversation, talk to them, right? So the mindset you have to have beforehand. All you want to do is talk to them, figure out who they are, and if they don't even want to talk back to you, that's okay, right? That's okay. Um, that's perfectly fine. Now, when it actually comes to starting the convo, I would say that you should go into a couple directions. Okay, so when it actually comes to starting it, right? Um, let's do this. Okay, and then and then all right. So I'd say there are three sections to actually starting the convo. There's the hook, there's the what, and then there's the end. And at this part is where you're actually going into the conversation. This part is basically what this whole video was about, right? This is what this whole video was about. That's the continuation. But before that, how you actually start it is these two sections. So let me explain it. So when you're actually in the hook, that is the first word that you say. What is that supposed to be, right? So I'd say that when you're actually starting the convo, if this is like a person that you've never seen before, like for example, back to the benches, right? Um, back to the benches, right? Or like a chair or whatever. There's a person on their phone. If there's even a girl, for example, you want to walk up to them and you want to sit down and you want to just offer something like, and again, while you're mirroring, right? While you're matching their energy, like you understand if they're relaxed or they're or they're like kind of hyper, like they just talked to a friend or they're laughing, come in there with the same exact energy, right? But regardless, you go into there while mirroring and you say, like for example, there's a friend that's reading, not a friend. There's a person that's reading, right? And they're sitting in a chair. You say, hey, is the seat next to you taken, right? And then they'll say no, go ahead, take it, it's fine. Then you sit down there, and then then you start going into the what because they're so interested, right? So you start going to the what, and they'll be like, this is blank 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 blank, and then you continue on to that. Maybe you talk about maybe you're interested in the fact that you also read books. You want to know if they read it. Maybe you also read manga. You want to see if they read manga, right? Maybe they're reading a fiction book, and now you want to go into fiction, right? Because fiction go into movies or TV shows. You see what I'm saying? And then this part right here is the hook where you actually start it, and then the what is where you actually initiate it. This section right here is where you find out what it is that they're actually doing, so you can actually hook all that interest in, and with this you can skyrocket into the actual conversation. But the hook is just to get in, like just initiate the conversation. What are you doing? Is this seat taken? What are y'all talking about? Blah blah blah. The what is where you try to figure out what it is that they're doing or they're interested in, and you can hook that entire conversation on this, right? So that what is where you're like, oh, so you're reading this, like, well, what are you reading? Reading that? Cool. Have you seen this? It's pretty similar to that. I heard it was amazing. I read it myself. It was super awesome. It was awesome. I totally recommend it. And there's this, like, the other author. Have you seen like the other works that he's been creating? It's insane, right? And you slowly hook that onto it, right? And then once you get past this stage and you're in, this whole in section is entirely what this is about. That's what this is about, right? So hopefully this is somewhat helpful for you understanding how to approach people, maybe with confidence, and continue the conversation. Let me know if I missed anything, and I'll continue that.